Good morning, you're watching Sabha TV. This is Rajya. Let's have a look at the top headlines. Liquor Baron Vijay Mallya granted bail after brief arrest in London. Prime Minister Modi says looter will have to return loot. India to press for Mallya's extradition in UK court. ADMK warring factions set to join hands. EPS and OPS camps reach agreement. General Secretary Sasikala and TTV Dinakaran to be ousted from the party. Donald Trump moves to tighten US visa policy, signs executive order to review H-1B visa program. Australia to cancel its visa program for foreign workers. India firms to get hit. More Indians look to come back. And UK Prime Minister Theresa May calls snap general polls on 8th June. Says Britain needs stability and stronger leadership after a European Union referendum. The Union Cabinet is likely to take a call on procuring paper trail machines for the Election Commission, which wants to use them in all polling stations in next Lok Sabha elections. Procurement of VVPAT unit listed in today's agenda of the Cabinet meet, but it's not clear whether the Cabinet would grant the entire rupees 3,174 crore or go for installment in order to cover all polling stations in 2019 Lok Sabha polls. For the EVMs, the Cabinet has so far cleared two tranches of rupees 1,009 crore and 9,200 crore for Commission to buy new voting machines. The Election Commission has given at least 11 reminders to the government seeking funds for the VVPAT machine since June 2014. The Supreme Court has also asked the Election Commission to give a tentative time frame by which it can use VVPAT machines in all polling stations. Now, the political upheaval continues to prevail in Tamil Nadu with a new twist. The State Finance Minister D. Jayakumar late on Tuesday night said the ruling Sasikala's ADMK faction has decided to delink her, Deputy Party Secretary TTV Dinakaran and entire family from the party. An influential section of Sasikala loyalists led by Chief Minister A.K. Palniswamy has extended a hand of friendship to rival O. Paneerselvam camp. Meanwhile, a committee is likely to be formed to steer the ruling party. The development came on a day when Paneerselvam made merger talks between the two camps conditional to ouster of V.K. Sasikala and a nephew Dinakaran. With this announcement, there are three factions in Tamil Nadu headed by Chief Minister Palniswamy, former Chief Minister O. Paneerselvam and Sasikala's close aide and ADMK's Deputy Secretary Dinakaran. In the Tamil Nadu Assembly, Sasikala faction earlier enjoyed support of 122 MLAs and Paneerselvam only 12. However, the present tally is not clear.
Sit and decided entire according to the views of the basic party men, all district secretaries, all headquarters secretaries, all MLAs, all ministers. Their all intention is to dealing the TTV Dinakaran's family. That only I already previously told my in interview. So that we will form a committee. Committee will run the party.
Any extent to remain in power, which is not in the interest of the state. The state has already gone down.
Now, fugitive liquor baron Vijay Mallya was given bail by Metropolitan Court after he was arrested in London on Tuesday by the Scotland Yard. Mallya was arrested on an extradition warrant following a request from the Indian authorities. The businessman faces charges of defaulting on loans worth crores in India. The centre had revoked Mallya's Indian passport last year. According to sources, Mallya is expected to surrender the revoked travel document and is also forbidden from possessing any international travel documents. Mallya has also been directed by the court that he remains in contact with the UK authorities with his mobile phone accessible at all the times. After the bailout, Enforcement Directorate is set to file its first charge sheet against Vijay Mallya and others in the IDBI bank loan default case. Officials said the agency has been preparing a charge sheet for quite some time now and it will be filed in court in Mumbai in next few days. The agency is probing this alleged loan fraud case under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act.
कि भारत सरकार ने विजय माल्या को भारत लाने के लिए हर कानूनी कार्रवाई प्रामाणिकता से किया है। उनके पासपोर्ट को कैंसिल किया गया, उनको एब्सकॉन्डर डिक्लेयर किया गया, उनके खिलाफ एक्स्ट्राडिशन कार्रवाई शुरू हुई और भारत ने बहुत मजबूती से ये पक्ष रखा इंग्लैंड में कि वो 9,000 करोड़ लगभग जनता के पैसे का डिफॉल्ट हुआ है, उसमें कई चीटिंग का भी मामला बना है।
इसकी प्रक्रिया होती है, उस प्रक्रिया के तहत ही हम कार्रवाई करेंगे। मेरा मानना है कि हम किसी भी ऐसा कदम नहीं उठाएंगे जो लगे कि हम कानून के विपरीत जा रहे हैं। हम और किसी भी व्यक्ति को छोड़ेंगे नहीं जो कानून की सीमा में है, जिसने देश के साथ अपराध किया है।
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार लोगों की आंख में धूल झोंकना बंद करे और देश को बताए कि विजय माल्या हमारे देश में वापस कब लेकर आएंगे और कब देशवासियों का 9,091 करोड़ रुपया वापस मिलेगा।
Meanwhile, a day when businessman Vijay Mallya was arrested by the Scotland Yard in London and released on bail, Prime Minister Modi criticised those who have looted the poor and middle class, saying they will have to return what they have looted. Modi was responding to a tweet by a follower who wrote that corruption not only robs us of hard money but also our dignity. Mallya, who was being declared proclaimed offender, was arrested in London by Scotland Yard on India's request for his extradition in a loan default case. Senior officials describe Mallya's arrest as first salvo in the case, which will now involve a legal process in the United Kingdom to determine if he can be extradited to India to face charges in the Indian courts. At a time when China, Russia and Pakistan are coming together to forge an alliance on Afghanistan, Canada has appreciated India's role in the war-ravaged country. It has shown willingness to join hands with India in development activities in Afghanistan and also wants overall defence ties with India from sale of equipments to manufacturing.
Canada's Defence Minister Harjit Singh Sajjan met Defence Minister Arun Jaitley on Tuesday to discuss defence relations between the two countries. The talks focused on security scenario in South Asia and other issues of mutual concern.
And given India's importance in the Indo-Asia-Pacific region, this trip is an important opportunity to build and strengthen our bilateral relations, especially as it relates to defense. And now I am exploring working together in areas of naval cooperation with the Indian military on cold climate warfare, joint exercises, counterterrorism, and sharing advances in defense research and innovation. I'm also interested in opportunities for Canada's defense industry to develop closer ties with India.
Sajjan has served in Afghanistan in joint missions against Taliban. Aware of India's activities in the war-ravaged country, Sajjan said India's work is worth emulating by other nations who want peace in Central Asia.
India has actually done some really good work in Afghanistan when it comes to development. For example, with rebuilding roads, the importance of an ice-making factory, actually no, not, is where the fruits are brought in, so they can keep it cold. And it sounds very minor, right? But here's the interesting part. There's a soldier here with me, a captain who has served with in Afghanistan, and I was saying is, we're doing this wrong. We're looking at this through a Western lens. It's not going to work.
Canada supplies uranium to India for peaceful purposes. With the trust quotient improving considerably these days, both sides see scope for defence cooperation, including joint manufacturing. Akhilesh Suman's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, in a big blow to the Congress party, just ahead of the MCD polls in Delhi, party veteran and former Delhi Congress chief Arvinder Singh Lovely joined the BJP on Tuesday. Lovely lashed out at the party leadership of his former party, saying the party is finished under them, referring to the allegations made by the state Congress veteran A.K. Walia that tickets for the MCD elections were being sold by the party leaders. Lovely said nobody took note of his grievances. One of the key ministers in Sheila Dikshit government, Singh held important portfolios such as education, tourism, urban development and transport. Along with Lovely, Delhi Youth Congress President Amit Malik also joined the BJP after meeting party chief Amit Shah.
पॉलिटिकल अपॉर्चुनिज्म कह लीजिए, गद्दारी कह लीजिए, जो भी कह दीजिएगा आप, लेकिन इस तरह के लोग जिनको सब कुछ मिला हो वो भी चले जाएं, तो किस पर आप विश्वास कर सकते हैं, किस पर क्या कर सकते हैं? मुख्य कारण इन सब लोगों का छोड़ना, जो भी है जिन्होंने छोड़ा है, वो यही है कि उनसे ना कोई उनको पूछता है, ना उनकी कोई सुनवाई है। तो इसलिए आउट ऑफ फ्रस्ट्रेशन जिसे कहते हैं, वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन जो कॉज किया गया है।
The Supreme Court on Tuesday pulled up army asking why it has maintained silence over the allegations of rape and murders against its personnel in Manipur. The court was hearing a PIL seeking probe and compensation in the alleged 1,528 extrajudicial killings in Manipur from year 2000 to the year 2012 by security forces and police. The Apex Court said a fair and impartial probe was needed to find out the truth behind the killings and favoured the setting up of a committee comprising senior CBI and state police officials to investigate the cases. Referring to an allegation of rape against 2 army personnel, the court also pulled up the state government for not processing with the case against them. The court asked Manipur government whether it was sheer helplessness on their part or a tacit understanding for not taking any action. The centre has opposed such an inquiry, saying there should be no judicial interference in the functioning of the army. However, the court cited Bangladesh prosecution of war criminals for atrocities committed in 1971 and said the government should not shy away from punishing the culprits accused of killing innocent people in the last 3 decades. Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley today will depart for a 5-day visit to the United States. He is going to participate in spring meetings of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund. Economic Affairs Secretary Shaktikant Das, Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramaniam and the team of RBI officials led by RBI Governor Urjit Patel are a delegation travelling with the Finance Minister. Upon arrival, the Finance Minister will be briefed by the Executive Director of the World Bank and Executive Director of the IMF. He will also expected to hold a meeting with editorial board of the Washington Post, followed by an official dinner hosted by the Heritage Foundation. Arun Jaitley and Urjit Patel will participate in G20 meeting on the financial sector, development and regulations and other issues on April 21st. During his stay, Jaitley is expected to hold meetings with American CEOs and institutional and pension fund investors, where he'll pitch India as a favourable investment destination. The Income Tax Department has detected over Rs 540 crore black money as part of its nationwide operation to check tax evasion. This comes after 15 days of closure of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana black money window on March 31st. Multiple searches and survey operations were conducted by the department on the entry operators, shell firm, government officials, real estate players and other sectors. As per an official data compiled till April 15 this year, the IT department has carried out over 250 such searches and survey operations where the taxman has raided at least 300 shell firms. The government had brought a first black money declaration window in 2015 for people who held illegal assets abroad, followed by the income declaration scheme last year where individuals and entities could declare the domestic black funds. And this one is the third black money window declaration. The Pradhan Mantri GKY was brought by government in order to check hidden money in the wake of demonetization. Time for a very short break. More news on the other side.
Enter the majestic forecourt of Rashtrapati Bhavan and you'll come across the Jaipur column. A gift to the Viceroy from Savai Madho Singh, the Maharaja of Jaipur, to commemorate the creation of the new capital. The 145-meter high column is crowned with 6 pointed crystal stars on a bronze lotus, and inside the stone shaft runs a steel tube which weighs a little more than 5 tons. The base of the column has text conceived by Lord Irwin and Sir Edwin Lutyens inscribed on it.
Tales that inspire. Stories of social change. A salute to diversity. Promoting public discourse. events that motivate, inspiring the innovative spirit. Watch Rajya Sabha television documentaries.
Welcome back. The latest report by the government has estimated that India's skewed sex ratio will decline further in the coming years. Quoting data from the Census and World Bank, a report titled Youth by Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation said sex ratio has been consistently decreasing since 1991. The reduction is found to be much more than that of the overall population. It has come down to 939 in year 2011 from 961 in 1971 and is projected to decline further to 904 by the year 2021 and to 898 by the year 2031. The projection is based on very low sex ratio at birth in India. The number of girls born for 1,000 boys was 914 in the year 2011 and is projected to fall further in the coming decades. Bringing good cheer for the farming community, the Indian Meteorological Department on Tuesday said southwest monsoon will be normal this year. The Weather Department predicted good distribution of rainfall across the country. The country will reportedly receive 96% of long period average. Parts of India continue to reel under intense heat wave as temperatures crossed 40 degrees Celsius on Tuesday. Hot conditions prevailed in national capital with mercury touching 42 degrees Celsius. Mark in some parts of the city. The Met Department has warned of heat wave-like conditions in districts of Telangana on Tuesday and Wednesday. Western Nagpur cities saw a temperature of 43 degrees Celsius on Monday, forcing people to stay indoors. The city will continue to witness above normal temperatures for the next 2 to 3 days.
खेती के हिसाब से जैसा 2016 रहा है, अच्छा रहा है खेती के लिए, उसी तरह का सिचुएशन 2017 में भी बन के बरकरार रहने का पूरा संभावना है। पिछले साल भी 97% की बारिश हुई थी, इस बार भी 96% प्लस माइनस 5% के हिसाब से होने की आकलन अभी किया गया है। इसकी अपडेट दिया जाएगा जून फर्स्ट वीक में।
There are some reports from across the country in nationwide. Supreme Court is likely to pronounce its verdict today on pleas seeking restoration of conspiracy charges against senior BJP leaders, including L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi and Uma Bharati in Babri Masjid demolition case. A bench comprising Justice P.C. Ghosh and R.F. Nariman is scheduled to pronounce the judgment. Meanwhile, there were 2 sets of cases relating to the demolition of disputed structure on December 7, 1992. President Pranab Mukherjee has agreed to a parliamentary panel's recommendation to make Hindi compulsory till class 10th in CBSE's affiliated school and Kendriya Vidyalaya across the country. The HRD ministry has also been instructed to form a policy in consultation with the state governments to make the language compulsory. A recent report of Parliamentary Panel on Telecom has suggested that call drops should be brought under the purview of the Consumer Protection Act. If adopted, a telecom user will then be able to take service providers to the Consumer Court for poor service. Telecom Minister Manoj Sinha, however, claimed the number of call drops in the recent month has fallen by 60%. Now, US President Donald Trump has signed an executive order to review the H-1B visa program that is used to place foreign workers in high-skilled US jobs. He signed a so-called Buy America, Hire America order on a visit to a tool factory in the US state of Wisconsin. The order directs agencies to enforce government rules on excluding foreign contractors from bids for government projects. The order is aimed at fulfilling his America First campaign promise. The order means that Indian tech companies are likely to be affected with their expansive visa applications curtailed, with few applications getting through a rigorous and grueling visa program.
This election, the American people voted to end the theft of American prosperity. They voted to bring back their jobs and to bring back their dreams into our country. That's why I'm here today. In just a few moments, I will be signing a Buy American and Hire American executive order. You haven't heard about that in a long time in this country. With this action, we are sending a powerful signal to the world. We're going to defend our workers, protect our jobs, and finally put America first.
Meanwhile, it's not just the US that is changing its visa rules. On Tuesday, Australia also scrapped its visa policy for foreign workers. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull announced a move to scrap visa policy 457 with an aim to ensure jobs for the citizens. A new visa policy will instead be introduced with enough restrictions aimed at safeguarding job opportunities for Australian governments. Reacting to Australia's announcement of abolishing its visa policy for foreign workers, the Ministry of External Affairs on Tuesday said it will look into the matter and examine the consequences of abolition of visa program called 457. The MEA added that the matter will be looked at keeping in context the ongoing CACA negotiations.
457 visa is abolished. It will be replaced by a new system that will be manifestly, rigorously, resolutely conducted in the national interest to put Australians and Australian jobs first. That's our commitment. Australian jobs, Australian values. So we're bringing the 457 visa class to an end. It's lost its credibility. We will replace it with 2 new temporary skills visas.
British Prime Minister Theresa May has called a snap general polls on 8 June. While announcing a decision, May said Britain needs certainty, stability and strong leadership following the European Union referendum. May said the government had the right plan for the negotiations in terms of Britain's exit from the European Union and that she needed political unity in London. There will be a vote in the House of Commons on Wednesday to approve the election plan. May's announcement of the snap polls caught many off guard as she had earlier insisted that no election would take place before the year 2020. It's noteworthy that unlike her predecessor David Cameron, May was not elected as Prime Minister but came to the position after rivals pulled out. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn welcomed the decision to hold an election.
If we do not hold a general election now, their political game playing will continue, and the negotiations with the European Union will reach their most difficult stage in the run-up to the next scheduled election. Division in Westminster will risk our ability to make a success of Brexit, and it will cause damaging uncertainty and instability to the country. So we need a general election, and we need one now, because we have at this moment a one-off chance to get this done while the European Union agrees its negotiating position and before the detailed talks begin.
Our Prime Minister has chosen what we believe the path that is going to be the most damaging to the British economy and therefore the most damaging to British families. We believe the United Kingdom should stay in the customs union, should stay in the single market, and that is the main issue that we will campaign on in this general election.
A look at what else is making news across the world in World Wrap. Mexico's economy minister on Tuesday said that sweeping trade deals for the Pacific region is also known as TPP might get implemented by making an adjustment to its text. Although the United States has withdrawn its stance, TPP signatories are expected to delve deeper into the trade at the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Summit that Vietnam is hosting this year. The Trans-Pacific Partnership was promoted by the former US President Barack Obama and Japan as a way to counter China's influence. US Vice President Mike Pence met with Japan's Deputy Prime Minister Taro Aso in Tokyo on Tuesday for talks on enhancing economic and commercial relations. Tokyo is second stop on Pence's 10-day tour of Asia, a trip aimed at emphasizing that US President Donald Trump wants to boost US trade in the region, even though he has abandoned a 12-nation Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Pact. Pence also highlighted the threat of North Korea during his visit to US service members on aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan. Indonesians lined up to vote in elections to choose between a Muslim and a Christian candidate to govern Jakarta. This time around, polls has been marred by blasphemy allegations against the incumbent governor. There are two candidates in fray for today's election, the current governor Basuki Purnama or the former education minister Anis Baswedan. Purnama is currently on trial on blasphemy charges. He is accused of mocking the verse in Quran. A gunman with an apparent dislike of white people and government killed 3 people in the downtown Fresno, California on Tuesday. He was taken into custody as he shouted Allahu Akbar. The suspect, identified as 39-year-old Kori Ali Muhammad, was also wanted in connection with the fatal shooting last week of an unarmed security guard. Muhammad fired at least 16 rounds in less than a minute at 4 downtown Fresno locations before he was spotted running through the streets by a police officer. India's cricket governing body BCCI rejected tated pacer S. Srishant's plea for a review of his life ban, saying will not compromise on a zero-tolerance policy towards corruption. The Kerala High Court had directed the centre government and the BCCI to file the counter affidavits on the petition filed by pacer, seeking a direction to play for the Scottish club. BCCI told the court that a criminal court exonerating Srishant of spot-fixing charges was not enough to lift lifetime ban on him. The BCCI disciplinary committee, headed by present Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, had slapped life ban on Srishant in September 2013. A Delhi Sessions Court had exonerated Srishant in spot-fixing case in July 2015. Now, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated Gujarat Lions by 21 runs in the IPL match on Tuesday, ending their 3-match losing streak. Batting first, the Bangalore side put up a massive total of 213 for the loss of 2 wickets, thanks to blistering half-centuries from Chris Gayle and captain Virat Kohli. The West Indian opener scored 77 runs of just 38 balls, while skipper Virat Kohli scored 64 of 50 balls. Gayle also became the first batsman to cross 10,000 run mark in the IPL. In reply, Gujarat opener Brendan McCullum gave his side a flying start with swashbuckling 72 runs, but he lacked support at the other end as Lions could only manage 192 for 7 in their designated 20 overs. Yuzvendra Chahal was the pick of the bowlers for the RCB as he picked up 3 wickets for just 31 runs. That's where now. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV for more. Thank you.